You've been told the same lie for 40 years. Work hard, stay loyal, and at 65, you'll finally get your life back. But look around. It's January 2026. The world doesn't look like it did when that dream was invented. Inflation has settled into a higher, stickier baseline. The tax code just underwent its most radical transformation in a decade. And honestly, you don't want to wait until you're too old to enjoy the mountain you spent your life climbing. What if I told you that the clock is ticking differently for a new group of people? They aren't tech billionaires or lottery winners. They are people on normal salaries, teachers, nurses, middle managers who have decided that 10 years is all the time they're giving the machine. Welcome to Wealth Map. Today, we're breaking down exactly how to retire in 10 years, specifically designed for the 2026 tax laws and market conditions. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. This is a math-based escape plan. To win a game, you have to know the board. In 2026, the board has fundamentally changed. We are now living in the aftermath of the massive tax overhaul that went into full effect this year. Standard deductions have been adjusted, the SALT caps have been redefined, and for the first time in years, the math of where you live and how you save has been turned on its head. But there's a catch. The 4% rule, that classic pillar of the financial independence movement, in 2026, it's being called the 4% trap. With the S&P 500 trading at historic multiples and the AI supercycle driving market concentration to record levels, a 4% withdrawal rate over a 50-year retirement is, quite frankly, a dangerous gamble. If you want to retire in 10 years on a normal salary, say the US median of around $75,000, you need to master three specific pillars: the aggressive gap, the tax bridge strategy, and the 3.5% safety net. Let's talk numbers. This is where most people get scared, but I want you to lean in. To retire in 10 years, you cannot save 10%. You can't even save 20%. The cold math of 2026 dictates that to hit the finish line in a single decade, your savings rate needs to be north of 50%. I know what you're thinking. I have a mortgage, I have kids, I have a car payment. How am I supposed to live on half my income? This is where the storytelling of your life changes. You have to stop viewing frugality as a form of deprivation and start viewing it as the act of buying your freedom back from the world. Every $100 you don't spend today isn't just $100. It's 3 days of your life you don't have to sell to a boss 10 years from now. In 2026, we have tools our parents never dreamed of. The 401k contribution limit has climbed to $24,000, and the IRA limits are up to $8,000. If you're a couple, you can shield a massive portion of your income from taxes right out of the gate. On a normal salary, this feels impossible until you look at the lifestyle creep of the mid-2020s. We are spending more on subscriptions, convenience apps, and digital status symbols than ever before. The first 3 years are the hardest. You're building the engine. You're slashing the fat. You're moving from a big house, big debt mindset to a small footprint, big freedom reality. You aren't just saving money, you're building a fortress. By year 4, the boring middle sets in. Your accounts are growing, but you're still far from the goal. This is where the 2026 tax laws become your best friend. Since you're retiring early, likely in your 30s or 40s, you have a bridge problem. Your money is locked in retirement accounts until you're 59 and a half. If you touch it, the IRS hits you with a 10% penalty. Or do they? In the financial independence community, we use the Roth IRA conversion ladder. Because of the 2026 adjustments to the standard deduction, you can strategically move money from your pre-tax accounts to Roth accounts once you stop working, paying little to no tax on the move. But you need a bridge to get there. That bridge is your taxable brokerage account. In 2026, the capital gains tax brackets remain incredibly favorable. If your income from selling stocks is low enough, your tax rate on those gains is 0%. Think about that. You're not just retiring early, you're retiring in a way where the government can't touch your lunch. We're nearing the climax of the journey. It's year 8. Your portfolio is starting to snowball. The interest on your interest is now earning more than your day job. But the market in 2026 isn't the market of 2010. We are in the heat of the AI supercycle. While the market is projected to see gains, the volatility is higher than we've seen in decades. To hit that 10-year retirement goal, you can't just set it and forget it in a total market fund and hope for the best. You need to look at sequence of returns risk. If the market crashes in year 10, just as you're ready to walk away, your dream dies. This is why, as you approach the finish line, you build a cash buffer. In 2026, with interest rates finally stabilizing, high-yield savings accounts and short-term bonds are actually viable again. You want 2 years of living expenses in boring, safe cash. This ensures that if the market takes a dive the day you hand in your resignation, you don't have to sell your stocks at a loss. You just wait it out. Imagine it's 2036. 10 years have passed since you watched this and decided to change your life. You're standing in your kitchen on a Tuesday morning. The rest of the world is stuck in traffic. The rest of the world is checking their emails with a sense of dread. But you're pouring a cup of coffee. You check your accounts. The normal salary you had in 2026 has been transformed into a self-sustaining wealth engine. Through the power of a 50% savings rate, the 2026 tax-shielded accounts, and a decade of compound interest in the AI-driven economy, you have reached your independence number. You didn't need $10 million. You needed 25 to 30 times your annual expenses. Because you learned to live a rich life on a normal budget, that number was much smaller than society told you it had to be. You aren't unemployed, you are time rich. The tax changes and the 2026 market weren't obstacles. They were the tailwinds you used to sail out of the harbor. The math is done, the laws are set, the only variable left in this equation is you. Retiring in 10 years isn't about being lucky, it's about being disciplined when everyone else is distracted. It's about choosing a decade of being different to get a lifetime of being free. Now, let's look at the mechanics of the 2026 market pivot. We've moved past the era of easy money. In the early 2020s, you could throw a dart at a board and make 12%. Today, you have to be surgical. The AI revolution isn't just a buzzword anymore. It has reshaped the productivity of the entire S&P 500, but that growth is concentrated. If you are still holding the same index funds from 2019, you might be missing the shift toward the physical infrastructure of AI, the energy companies, the real estate holding the data centers, and the semiconductor giants that have become the new utilities. Your portfolio in 2026 needs to reflect this reality. We're seeing a divergence between the winners and the losers like never before. To hit that 10-year retirement goal, you need to capture that growth while protecting yourself from the bubbles that build and when everyone is chasing the same dragon. This is why we advocate for a core and satellite approach. 80% of your wealth stays in broad, low-cost index funds to capture the general market's upward trajectory. But that 20% satellite, that's where you position yourself in the high-growth sectors of the late 2020s. You aren't gambling, you're aligning your capital with the direction the world is moving. And then there's the psychological war. Year 6 is when the middle class trap tries to pull you back in. You've been saving for half a decade. You have more money in your bank account than your parents ever did. The temptation to upgrade the car, to buy the bigger house, to finally take that luxury vacation everyone else is posting about will be overwhelming. But remember the 10-year clock. If you cave in year 6, you add 5 years to your sentence. Success in the FIRE movement isn't a test of intelligence, it's a test of temperament. In 2026, the world is louder than ever. Ads are more personalized, social pressure is more intense, and the YOLO culture is still whispering in your ear. But you have a map. You know that a car is a depreciating asset that steals your hours, while a low-cost index fund is an employee that works for you while you sleep. By the time you reach year 9, the finish line is in sight. You're no longer working because you have to. You're working because you choose to. And that, my friends, is the greatest feeling in the world. The final rungs of the ladder involve securing your health and your legacy. In 2026, healthcare remains the biggest X factor for early retirees. Without an employer-sponsored plan, you have to navigate the revamped Affordable Care Act exchanges. But here's the secret. Because your taxable income in early retirement is often very low, since you're living off savings and capital gains, you may qualify for significant subsidies that bring your premiums down to almost nothing. This is the tax hacking of the modern era. You are playing the system exactly as it was designed for those who have mastered their cash flow. So where do you start? You start by tracking every single cent. You start by looking at your 2026 tax return and realizing that the government just gave you a tool you aren't using. You start by realizing that the next 10 years are going to pass anyway. The only question is, at the end of those 10 years, will you still be sitting in that same office chair, or will you be standing on your own mountain? If you're ready to take the first step, I've put together a comprehensive 2026 FIRE toolkit in the description below. It includes the exact spreadsheets I used to calculate these numbers, the 2026 tax bracket breakdown, and a list of the specific index funds that are leading the charge in this new market cycle. Would you like me to do a deep dive into the Roth conversion ladder and show you exactly how to move your money without paying a dime in penalties? The map is laid out. Your freedom is waiting. Now it's time to start the journey.